Well, this is awful. The driver's side is going perfectly fine, and I adjusted this a little bit over here on this side, latched it shut, and I cannot get it to come out. I really screwed up now. I'm really hosed. I don't know if it's not unlatching or if it's so out of alignment it's stuck.
Hey there, I'm Jer, and welcome back to the C4 Restoration Diary series. Finally, after all this time, I'm getting some good work done on the car. I can actually enjoy it a little bit and go on some rides. Since I got the car back in 2017, I've been able to put about 4,000 miles on her so far. And I even got to a huge milestone of 150,000 miles total on the C4.
Here we go. Gonna roll over to 150,000 miles on my little fun road trip. Goes. There we are. 150. Still going. 150 more to go.
So all my sightseeing, I take pictures of the car and stuff, and when I look at it closely under a microscope, it is a really pretty view, but there are some things bad and misaligned with the car. One of them is the hood. So you can see in these pictures how my hood alignment is all jacked up. So hopefully that's just moving stuff around and I can fix that, so that's next on the list.
Hood alignment is a little off on this side, and you can see how it's a little off on this side. Okay, so the hood. I checked out the Mirror Rock website, the guy that sells the used stuff, and he had a really nice section on the differences of the hood, which doesn't help me a ton, but mainly what helped me figure it out is the wheel wells. So the wheel well top and the wheel well bottom part. This is a hood off of a newer car. So it's off of a, 80, 89, 88, I think it's 89 and higher cars. So the good news is this cover will fit on that wheel well. So they changed the wheel wells too, because the wheel well is supposed to be a different size. It's not supposed to be this symmetrical on each side. The newer ones are symmetrical like this, where it's just kind of even on both ends. So that's why it doesn't fit. But I do have the right lift strut in here. So this is the mechanical lift strut, so that was kept. The lift strut that should be in here should have a shock on it, but this does not. So it looks like everything else got swapped out except for that. So I might upgrade that at one point to help me open and close the hood. But those new lift strut things here help out a ton too to open and close it, because those were wore out before. And it was a little hard to open and close the car before I got those replaced this year. Okay, so now that I know I have the wrong hood on here and the alignment of my hood is off, and I'm pretty sure the problem is because the hood is just a little bit too far to the rear of the vehicle instead of front. Looking at my gaps in the front, this looks okay, pretty decent, but holy hell, look how big this gap is compared to that. So there's my problem, I bet. So if I scoot this forward and maybe a little bit to the side just for alignment issues, I might be able to fix that windshield problem that windshield wiper problem that I've been fighting for years. So let's screw around with that.
So the two bolts that attach to the hood, these adjust the side-to-side movement.
You know what? It's actually attached here as well. So it looks like that's just an additional brace and here. So I need to loosen these screws too. And of course, that's a miscellaneous wrong screw. These are supposed to be 13s, and and that's a 10. So I'm sure Tom did that, or the guy he paid to do that. So I got to loosen these 2 bolts and that bolt to maybe push this forward. Well, that was super easy. Just pushed it forward, and you can already see it's a few centimeters forward now. And let's check the alignment on this bad boy. All right, check this out. This is already a million times better. That is really close to being aligned. I cannot put my finger anymore in here. It's still not as tight as this gap over here, but both sides are now finally aligned. So I got them a little bit snug down, and this is as far forward as I can go with it. I can't get it any more forward than that without modifying these brackets or anything. There's really no more forward movement that I can see, but that's good enough for now, definitely. So I got it shifted over to the driver's side and pushed forward. And now I have to probably realign these so they fit into here properly. So there's probably some adjustment points here to move them around, and I'm gonna grease it up and try to get all put back together, because right now I can't even close the hood because this piece of weather stripping needs to dry and everything, and because it was all tore up. It's supposed to be sitting right there. I don't know, so I'll grease it and go from there. Okay, let's see if I can get the camera in here. Where are we at? There it is. Okay, so see down here, it's slightly pushed more towards the left side of the car now. So see, it's not going directly in the center now. So now I need to move that over. So let's see if there is a way to reposition this side. Okay, yeah, so there's room to adjust this all kinds of directions. So I'm gonna just move it over. So I'm gonna loosen this other bolt, push it over, retighten it. Well, this is awful. The driver's side is going perfectly fine, and I adjusted this a little bit over here on this side, latched it shut, and I cannot get it to come out. Oh, I don't know what's going on in there. Is it stuck on something? I really screwed up now. I'm really hosed. I don't know if it's not unlatching or if it's so out of alignment it's stuck.
Well, that's great. Now I can't even open my hood. In an utter act of desperation, I'd figured I'd finally make one of those C4 hood opener tools. So if your cable breaks on your hood release, you can still use this thing in an emergency to open up your hood. So I guess that's what I need to do. I had a steel rod just lying around, and I bent it to match how the tool is supposed to look. So that way I didn't have to spend the $20, $30 and then wait 1 to 2 weeks for that thing to come in the mail. So I just made my own.
Okay, I think I finally figured out how the tool is supposed to work. I can kind of get in here on this side, figure out what I need to do. So actually the hook of it comes from the top and twists it over that way. I thought it was the other way around. So you get it over there next to the lock. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. And then turn it, see, and then it pushes it forward. So the length of that end needs to be almost perfect to be to engage that thing forward. And then I can move this like that a little bit, and that will move it forward. So let's try it on the other side. Oh, finally got it free. I don't know what's going on here, but now I finally got it free. I was able to get a screwdriver going this direction and push the thing forward. My tool, wherever it fell down, yeah, down here, I just could not get it aligned. Now, figure out what's going on here. Yeah, see, so I have it bungee corded in the car, so it is all the way unlatched. I don't know why that's getting stuck, though. Well, I removed the damn thing. It's not getting jammed in here at all now. Huh, weird. So I got this little bungee strap thing going on in here to hold the lever open. So this should snap down, which it does. Okay, let's pull on it. And and see if it pops up. Okay. It was just so far out of alignment. All right, let's try that again then. Oh, god dang it, it just did it again. It's unlatched completely and it's stuck. So this time the plate is really loose, so I didn't tighten it down at all. I was just trying to get it aligned again, and now it's so far out of alignment, it's jacked up. Oh, okay. No matter what I do, I just cannot get it to align on here. It's just, I need to clearance that a little bit, and then I can put it back together. I even tried bending this a little bit that way, and it's just not working. So I'm gonna have to clearance that a little bit with a drill bit, and that should get me fixed. Okay, I think I got it aligned a lot better, but I just made a terrible mistake. I tightened that bolt, the big long bolt on the other side so far that there was another nut behind it that I didn't see. I wasn't paying attention. It actually hit the fiberglass right here and pushed it up and cracked it. So there's something else to repair at a later time. Ugh. All right, let's see if it pops up over there. Yay, it does. Okay, so it pops up. And if I just pull it towards the outside, it seems to, yep, always work perfectly. Okay. Yeah, it was this nut right here. I over tightened it. Stupid backing part I wasn't paying attention to, and crunch. That's just something else to fix later. Oh well. Okay, so that's good enough. The hood is much better. I'll adjust these standoffs. I don't know if these standoffs are for this car or not, because I also have a standoff here, and the standoff seems to go right on top of this piece of rubber, which that doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm wondering if that's another issue, and I have the wrong hood on this car, and that's a different design and than this one, and these are supposed to be the standoffs, because these are a lot thinner than this. This is much stronger, and that's probably the new design. Well, it's much better. I mean, it's better. It's not great, it's not perfect, but it's much, much better. But now I'm noticing a new problem here. Like, if you look at this wheel, and you can see how it's like in the tub, like, you know, that, you know, about a quarter of an inch. Go over here to this wheel, and it's actually sticking out of the tub about the same amount. So that means this whole front end is crooked. So this bumper must not be on here properly, and it's pushed over too far, and I'm sure that's what's causing all these hood alignment issues. So that will be another project. So whenever I get to repainting, I need to align all these damn panels, because they are jacked up bad. But it is better. It is better.
Ugh. Well, that is still all whacked out and not perfect. All I have to say about that is, thanks, Tom. Man, that guy really whacked this car out. So I'm guessing that this car originally had a nicer hood on it, and for some reason, Tom took the hood off of this car, put it somewhere else, and put leftover pieces on this car. Maybe even the car was in a wreck. I don't know. Why he did this? Ugh. But at least he did replace the wheel spacers with the correct ones to match the same hood that's not supposed to be on the car, so it could have been more of a Frankenstein mess than it really is. I think in the long run, if I just get some spacers and bring down those tubs that are on the hood, it will seal up properly, but man, that is just more stuff that is not right on this car. Ugh. Thanks, Tom. The next project is pretty much cosmetic as well. I want to fix the offset on my wheels. Well, actually for two reasons. One is because cosmetically it looks strange, and if you get a little bit wider track, theoretically the car will handle better as well, and that is where the car is supposed to be set up, with the wider tires. So maybe that will help some other issues as well and be more than just a cosmetic fix. I have Corvette wheels on my car now. I don't know what they're off of. They're off of like a C5 or a C6. I think they're a C5, but I don't know. They're the star style wheels. So I ordered in some Hubcentric wheel spacers to hopefully fix that issue.
All right, check it out. Got my brand new 1.5 inch offset Hubcentric hubs spacers in. So I'm going to go throw these on my C4 and hopefully that will fix that offset problem that I'm having with those wheels. Okay, so here's the before on this wheel. I mean, both these wheels they're inset way too far, both these wheels. So when it's all said and done, it should come close all the way to the edge here. All right, so first thing I need to do is get the wheel off. Do this on the ground, especially the front wheels. Unless you have a friend that can step on the brakes. So I'm loosening all these. Come on. See, good thing I'm doing this on the ground. Could you imagine trying to do that while the car is elevated? Okay, those are now all broken loose. Now I have to jack the car up. So to jack it up, there should be a little spot on here written somewhere where it says jack here. My car doesn't have that. It's missing. So what I do is I just always go right about here with that and set it up. Get my hand in here so you can see something like that. And now there we go. And now that's on there like that. So now I just jack it up. So that's the pinch weld where two pieces are coming together. So that's why that's so strong. You wouldn't think that's strong, but that's strong. So the real jack sits, you know, on the piece of metal that's right behind this piece of plastic. So don't jack up on the plastic or fiberglass, whatever that is, but on the piece of metal that's behind it. So there's metal here, but that's not the proper jack location for the jack that comes with the car, but it will work, and that's what I always use. Okay, it's off the ground. Oh, come on. Oh, this is the wrong... That's why that's happening. I have a wobble extension in here. No wonder why it's acting like that. To change this extension out. Okay. Wheel is now out of the way. So the whole point of getting a Hubcentric one is the inside diameter should fit exactly on the inside of diameter of this and not necessarily just hang on with the lugs. But I mean, it should be like every other tire anyways. So look at that. It goes directly in there as you would expect it would, so it's on there. Okay, that's how that works. And we just tighten these bad boys down. I should probably, you know what, I'm gonna put some grease on these because these are not gonna be moving for a long time. So I'm actually gonna, I'm gonna put some grease on these ones. And I'm gonna use these lugs because these are the correct lugs and they don't get, I'm not gonna reuse those a lot. I can always replace these lugs later. I don't know if I'm supposed to have the ones with the black caps or not. I don't know. And of course, this is not the right lug. So for this, I'm gonna use a 20-year-old bottle of white lithium grease. Oh my gosh, it's all gooed up and separated. Now let's see if white lithium grease comes out. There's something. Golly. Okay. Got a little bit of grease in there. Now I'll put it on. Now that my hands are just absolutely covered in goo. It's a 3/4 socket for lug nuts. And there's one. Doesn't really matter how I put them on here. As long as I don't tighten them down, you know, I'll do a star pattern here in a little bit. So I'm gonna do this for a second, get all these on. Okay, so now I need to tighten this down to the correct specification. So I got my torque wrench and I'm gonna set it to about 95 foot-pounds, not inch-pounds. And to keep this from spinning as I'm tightening it, I'm gonna use the old screwdriver trick. So I'm putting a screwdriver in a hole where the vents are. There's all this slotted up here for vents, and using the caliper to stop it from spinning. And watch. Now, if you have a buddy, you can just have your buddy step on the brakes. I'm not gonna do these super tight yet. I'm just snugging them down on this first pass. And then the second one is where I'll torque it. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one. And make sure you do that star pattern. You don't want to just go around in a circle. And that's it. Now I just gotta put the tire on like normal. And then we'll check the offset. Oh, okay. It's gonna be much better. Tighten these bad boys up, lower it down, and we'll check it. Okay, so for doing this torque, I gotta jam my foot underneath here to keep it from spinning. Once again, if you have a buddy that can step on the brakes, this would be really super helpful. I wonder if I should switch to the lug nuts that have caps. This looks kind of strange. Now, but I'll survive. Okay. See, that obviously didn't work. So, 3, 4, last one. Come on, you. 5. Okay, all done. Let's lower her down. Now notice I don't have a jack stand. I always use a jack stand, but since I'm not getting underneath the car and I'm doing this really quick, it'll be all right. Never want to get underneath any of this stuff if you don't have a jack stand. Wow, that is like perfect. Check it out now. That is like perfectly to the edge now. The tire's just barely churned. So yeah, that's exactly the offset that I needed for that. Okay, so that is 100 times better than where I was at before. Right on. You know, that looks good for the front, but not so much for the back. It's also at an angle here. It's going like that. Like sticking over this way. Huh. Okay, well, I got it all put back together on the ground, drove around the block, and it sure seems like the wheel problem's fixed. Now they're straight up and down. Even though I pushed up and down on this thing when I was sitting still, driving around seemed to fix that problem on both this side and this side. So they're kind of looking pretty good now. So just keep an eye on it and see how it goes. Yeah, if you look at this back one, it's perfectly tucked in there. Same thing with the front. Okay, I think I got it. I guess 1.5 inches is the right size. Almost thought I might have to get 1 inch for the back, but if I drive this around, it looks like it will clean itself up.
Well, that worked out fantastic for both projects. Yay! The main reason why I wanted to get the wheel spacing done was because someone actually came up to me and said, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong with your wheels?" in essence. So I'm at a convenience store, come out, and this guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey, I have the right wheels for your car, because I can put these wheels on my Camaro," or whatever he had. And I'm like, "Oh, maybe I would be interested in buying the correct wheels for my car, but I don't want to get rid of these wheels." And he's like, "Oh, no, you need to get rid of these wheels. I mean, look at them." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, these wheels, it's like, look at the gap. It's like this." And I'm like, "Oh." And honestly, I've never paid attention to it before because I've been so focused on other things on the car. And ever since he said that, I'm like, oh wow, that gap is pretty bad. So that was the main reason why I fixed it, is because when I drive around, people are actually making fun of me. So now I won't have that issue. They could still make fun of me about the paint chips. The other thing I need to fix is tire sizes. One day I'll get better fitting tires on here. I just wanted to get some newer rubber on these things because the old ones were completely all jacked up and causing drivability issues. So at least the car drives better and my wheel spacing is fixed. That's everything that I wanted to show you in this episode. Next time we're going to tackle the heater control valve. I need to replace that bad boy, because of course it's leaking. So if you want to see how I do that, make sure you subscribe to see that video or any other future videos that get posted. Also, make sure you leave a comment if you want to give me some feedback, if you have any concerns or questions for me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the C4 adventure thus far. Have a fantastic day and happy C4ing.